All right, guys, Levi Trumbull reporting alongside Ron Benghazi Hedlund. So, as you might know, at this point, Ron Benghazi has filed this massive federal lawsuit against the Commonwealth of Virginia. So, Ron, I want to talk with you about that today.
Yes, sir.
So, what inspired you to file this massive complaint against the Commonwealth of Virginia?
It's just not any one thing, but just it's been building and building and building. And finally, after all of the harassment that I've gotten out of Henrico County, I decided to go ahead and start fighting back in the courts. And so the first step was to sue the state of Virginia before the 2-year deadline runs out.
So specifically, talk about what this lawsuit addresses, the incident that is alleged in your complaint, which was filed.
Yes, it's a 65-page complaint, and in it, the attorneys go through detail by detail, and it's all laid out, and anyone can access it online. But basically, they conspired against me to deprive me of my constitutional rights, and that was of free speech at the state capitol. And they knew what they were doing was wrong, and then tried to fabricate a story to cover it up.
So tell me about what they did specifically. You were, and I know, but I'll let you speak about it, but you were doing a protest and you were subsequently arrested for that protest. That is the nuts and bolts of the situation. Yeah, I'll let you talk about it in greater detail.
The reason I was motivated to do that particular protest, it was the last full day of Governor Northam's administration. He was the outgoing governor. Governor Youngkin was going to be inaugurated the next day. So this was a Friday morning that I went out there with a sign that said F Governor, because Governor Northam had a nickname while he was in college, and it was his own nickname that I was using as F Governor, because he was an extremist in his views of supporting abortion even up to and after birth. And so I wanted to go there on his last day for him to see my sign. But what happened was his chief of staff, Clark Mercer, saw me on the public plaza and called the Capitol Police to have me removed. And I left the front plaza area and went around the corner to a public sidewalk and said I wasn't going to go any farther.
You stood your ground.
I stood my ground after I got around to a public sidewalk, and they arrested me anyway. I'm sorry, you just asked me to leave the property?
Correct. I'm with the Department of General Services.
You said I needed a permit?
Yes. If you go to our website, you'll see that this is a permitted area and you're required to have a permit.
I have a permit. Yep, I do have.
Can I see your permit? We issue those.
I don't know who you are. What's your name? You said you were the Department of General Services, but what is your position and your name with them?
Sir, you need to leave the premises.
What is your position and your name with the Department of General Services? How do I know that you have any authority to order me off the property?
Sir, if you have a permit, as you've indicated, if you could please show me that permit, you may remain.
I'm not showing you anything until you tell me what authority you have to order me off the property.
As of right now, unless you have a permit to be here, you can't be here, okay? So at this time, I'm asking you to leave. If you don't, I'll have to charge you with trespassing, okay?
Where's there any signs that say I'm not allowed to be here?
It's a policy created for the state government buildings in this area. So, again, unless you have a permit to display this sign right outside of a state building.
So that's the issue. It's the sign. It's not my presence. It's the sign's presence.
Yes.
It's protected political speech. I have a permit under the Constitution of the United States of America. And
you have to get a permit through DGS for the state government to have it displayed here.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I cannot go inside that building with there, but this is a public forum right here. See that memorial right there? They've established that the Commonwealth Public Safety Memorial, I'm going to go over here and take video of it. This is for the public. The Commonwealth Public Safety Memorial. This is an established public forum, and I challenge you to violate my civil rights.
So after they arrested you, tell me about what jail did you go to? Tell me about I assume you were booked? Tell me about that process.
Yeah, so I was arrested. I was handcuffed. I actually have nerve damage in my hands, and I have shoulder damage to this day. And I was put in a vehicle. I was driven to the Richmond Justice Center. They call it Justice Center, but it was where I was booked. And I was strip searched. I was fingerprinted, mug shots, everything.
Wow.
And I was given a personal recognizance bond and then released. And I had to walk back 2 miles to the Capitol to get my car.
So specifically, what was the charge they used to arrest you?
It was trespassing. They told me, and it's all on camera, and it's all in the documents that were filed with the court. So all of that, it was transcribed, so anybody can see that today. But they told me that I was not allowed to be in the public plaza protesting without a permit.
Really?
And they actually, on camera, handed me a stack of papers. And if you read the second paragraph of that stack of papers, it says you only need a permit for 10 or more people. So they knew I didn't need a permit, but they were trying to intimidate me. And I actually did leave the front entrance, but then they told me I had to go across the street. And when I got around the corner to a public sidewalk, I stopped. And that's when they arrested me, but it was for trespassing.
Okay, so at this point in time, what is the status of that criminal court case where you were arrested for trespassing? Because at this point, you have a federal lawsuit as it relates to that incident, but do we have a disposition, an outcome for the criminal trial?
Yeah, I hired an attorney immediately after the charges were presented to me, and they had a court date that was about a month or 6 weeks out from that date. So I hired an attorney, and the week before the court case, the prosecutor from City of Richmond, they notified my attorney that they were going to null pros the case. They dropped it, completely dropped it.
Really?
Yep. And that's why I'm going to sue them, because there was no basis for the trespass. Even the Commonwealth's attorney knew it was a bogus charge.
Okay, so now we have a complaint on the books, and we're early in this litigation. So where are we? Like, I know we're early in the complaint. Have they been served a copy of this lawsuit yet?
The court, we have filed the complaint with the court, and then they have up until, I believe it's the middle of November, to respond.
Have they been served? Have the parties, the defendants in the case, been served the complaint?
Now, I don't know. There's like 8 or 9 individuals. We're working through the Attorney General's office.
Okay,
I don't know where that stands right now.
Right. Okay. All right. Understood. So what would your preferred outcome be in this judicial case?
Well, I don't want to get into too many details. I do want to be vindicated. I want to be validated, and I want them to end up realizing what they've done is wrong. But I'm not going to go through all the particular details of what I want, because that's all subject to negotiation when we sit down, whether that's going to go to court or whether it'll be settled out of court.
And that's exactly what I wanted to ask you. So let's say they want to offer you a settlement. You would go in that direction if you thought it was a favorable settlement for you?
Anything's negotiable at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything's negotiable. The fact that they would want to settle would prove that they know they're wrong.
Okay. Yeah. And I know the reason I asked that question is because oftentimes, like you take the Johnny Depp situation,
Right.
it really is not about a financial motive. It's more about proving a point or exonerating yourself in the judicial setting. Is any part of your situation similar to that?
Somewhat, and in that, one, I've already been exonerated by the Commonwealth's attorney, that they knew the bogus charges would never hold up in court. And instead of trying to defend those charges, they just dropped them flat out.
Yeah.
So now I want them to be held accountable, because they were trying to hold me accountable by the courts. Well, there's nothing to hold them accountable. And so that's why I've proceeded with this lawsuit, to hold the Commonwealth accountable.
All right, guys, you have heard it here first from Ron Benghazi Hedlund. We are out here today at Frederick Community College. I'm glad that I was able to catch him and interview him about this massive federal complaint that he has filed against the Commonwealth of Virginia. Ron, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Levi.
Absolutely.
Have a good one.